Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who has directed Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, Fallout, and Dead Reckoning Part 1, or now just Dead Reckoning. And with this somewhat seeming final installment in the Mission Impossible franchise, the fate of the world rests in Ethan Hunt's hands as he holds the key to the fate of humanity, as this AI called the Entity is threatening all human life on Earth and is threatening to launch every single nuke against each other country. So Ethan and his team must track down the original source code on the submarine that was in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is what I call it because I think it's funny. And they must figure out a way to destroy this AI before it kills everyone on the planet with nuclear fallout. So, what did I think of this film? I absolutely loved it. From start to finish, I was tense, I was gripping my seat. There's so much at stake here because with the other Mission Impossible films, it was, oh, your team was compromised. Someone's trying to kill you and someone's trying to frame you. Then it was, oh my God, we got to steal something and it could, be a biological weapon. Then it was, oh my God, countries are going to launch nukes at each other. Now it's just the entire world is doomed by this AI threat. The stakes keep getting bigger and bigger with every film. And this is the biggest of the stakes. The entire planet is at stake. And Ethan Hunt is the only person who can stop it, him and his team. Do I have any complaints with this film? Do I think the plot has been done before? Do I think that they do too much of the Ethan Hunt is a traitor and we can't trust him stuff? Is it a little slow, and does it have too much exposition explaining the events of the film by, explaining past events from the other films? I don't think so in the slightest. I think everything about this film is warranted. From the pacing to the exposition to explain everything that's going on in this film, I think everything is warranted and done extremely well. Sure, you can say it's a little slow, especially after the first act, and before we get to the bigger meat of the film, once they try to track down the submarine and once they actually get the mission started, everything is just captured so well. And it's because there's the looming threat. You're just invested and you're locked in and you really don't think about anything else. And I never really thought that the film was slow. I was always invested no matter what. With the Rogue Nation and Fallout, I wasn't invested, hence I was more inclined to think that the film was boring because I just thought the plots were just kind of lame. And I thought the villain was kind of lame. But the villain here, he's not all too present, but he's always a looming factor because he is very important to the film because he has a thing that the characters need in order to stop the AI. So I was always invested. Even when it's just scenes of dialogue going on for so long, I was always hooked. I was always invested because everything means so much. And it means so much to the themes of the film, that being choice and human will. It's funny to say that Mission Impossible films are deep because it's all action and stunts and whatnot. But with the last film and this film, especially with the ever-present theme of artificial intelligence and how it's being integrated into our lives, especially when it's taken to the extreme that it could kill all of us, it uses that as a perfect setting for our characters to make choices, because there are a lot of choices with a lot of sacrifice that certain characters could make in this film that could threaten and bring about World War III if the AI doesn't act in certain aspects in the film. And with this AI being, extremely intelligent, it's pinning humanity against each other in hopes that fallout and nuclear doomsday will arrive if it doesn't do it itself, which it wants to. So the themes of humanity and the choices that humans make is just so damn interesting, and I think it's extremely fully realized in this film. Could you choose to help the AI and bring about doom to the entire planet and humanity as a whole, to bring a new age of humanity, or just possibly kill it all? Or will you sacrifice everything in your life to save humanity because you think that it's worth something? It's so damn realized to the fullest extent because of the risks that all of these characters are taking in this film. And I do like the callbacks that this film does with other films. I'm not going to say which one it is. You might have guessed from one of the trailers, I think. But it's something that I was sitting and thinking, going, okay, I think it would be interesting if maybe this element from this specific Mission Impossible film was brought up, and maybe that has some plot relevancy. And then, like, right after it got brought up, I'm like, holy shit, I was just joking, because of the way it was, the way that they ended that specific plot point in one of the older Mission Impossible films. I didn't think they'd ever come back to, but the fact that they did, I think it doesn't make me think that that specific film is better or worse, or it doesn't make me think different, because it wasn't conceived at that point to be such a thing. The way that they use it to prop up the plot in this film, even more so, I think it's really interesting. And I like what they did with it, because a character had a choice involving a past film, and that choice is bringing about doomsday in this film. You're really thinking, oh shit, the choice that you made, the choice that a human made in the past when they thought they were doing something good, could bring about Armageddon and doomsday in current day because of, human will and desire and selfishness, because you want to save people. It does so much, and I'm so happy that it did so much. That's all I really want to say about the plot. I'm sure I said that before, but I went on a little bit too much about the plot and the themes of the film. Now let's get to like what everyone comes to these movies for: the action. The action here is top notch. The stunts, the choreography, the fight scenes, everything here is incredible. And I really don't know if any action film, hell, any Mission Impossible film, if they choose to make any in the future, I don't know if they can top this. I really don't know, because there's so much going on. Just because the stakes are the entire planet is doomed and it's up to a few people who can stop it. Just because of that, on top of like the incredibly well filmed action scenes and how tense they are, the use of the score and editing, because there's multiple scenes happening at the same time, both with the same things going on, and the framing of it, how close in we are at points, how we can see characters who make small choices. Oh my god, it's incredible. And it's brutal. The action of this film is absolutely brutal. It's not like there's a bunch of gore being spilled out of people's body. It's just really intense, fast action, a lot of fist fighting. Not so much gunfighting as there is in previous films, but when it's there, it's pretty damn cool. But amidst all of the gunfighting and the fist fighting and whatnot, you want to see the big stunts. You want to see Tom Cruise on a biplane as it's flying through like mountainous areas, and you want to see him dangling off of these biplanes as he's flying it with his foot, trying to get inside of the plane. You want to see stuff like that, and it is captured beautifully. I don't even want to think about how much time and effort went into doing that. And honestly, I can't tell like what's CG and what isn't in terms of Tom Cruise on holding on to a plane like that. And I just can't imagine the planning that goes behind it, the storyboarding, everything about that. I just can't imagine how much time and effort went into planning and shooting and editing it all together. It's absolutely incredible. I saw this film in IMAX. I had to see this film in IMAX. If a film's in IMAX, I really want to watch it that way, because when you see the entire screen filled up, and when you see why those moments are shot in IMAX, you truly just fall in love with the film more. And there's a moment, and there's a few moments where like it's like regular standard cropping, regular standard format, and then it expands to IMAX. And there's a scene where Tom Cruise's character Ethan Hunt, he's like cranking something, and like each crank he does, the screen appears to fill out a little more and then a little more. I went, holy shit, shit's about to get real. And this got a little spoiled for me, but I read something that said there's 20 minutes of something. I'm not going to say what it is, but in like those 20 minutes of this specific sequence, there is not a single there's one line that is said, and Ethan says it to himself. But in that entire sequence, there is so much going on, there's so much at stake. The way Ethan has to traverse this specific area, it's mind-boggling. Getting into there and getting out of there, it's wow. I was blown away. I really was. Every set piece, every action stunt set piece of this film is just breathtaking. I think this is the greatest action film I've ever seen in my life, and it just might be the greatest action film I might see for the rest of my life. Like, I haven't seen The Raid or The Raid 2. I've heard incredible things about those films, but based on what I've seen and just seeing the scale of this film, just how massive it is, I honestly don't know what's next in terms of not just Mission Impossible films, but action films in general. This was just breathtaking. And this is one of those very rare films where my body was starting to get numb. Like I've said it before, it was Endgame, it was Creed 3, and I think it might have been another film. I honestly, I can't think of it at the moment. But there are very few films where my entire body just goes numb because of how like engrossed, engaged, and in love with what I'm watching is. Just absolutely breathtaking. I'm giving Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning an A+. This film was just breathtaking, and I was fighting the urge so bad to just go to the very next screening, which was in like an hour for IMAX. This is a nearly 3-hour film. This is a 2 hour and 50-minute film. I would have gladly stayed to watch that film again. I really can't express how much I adored and love and appreciate this film. And it's most likely the last Mission Impossible film that we'll get for God knows how long, because Tom Cruise, I'm sure he wants to do other stuff. He recently said he wants to like continue doing this into his 100s. And if he could keep his body in shape for that long, then, you know, I'm glad to see what he has next in store for us. And I'm glad to see who can outdo this film. I want to see someone outdo this film. I want to see someone take action to the next level. I don't know what that is, but I'm all here for it. And if it's better than The Final Reckoning, then I'm very much looking forward to that. So, have you seen Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning? What are your thoughts on all of the Mission Impossible films? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Or did you absolutely love it like I did? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. I really want to watch this film again, and I really want to do another review on it when I've seen it for a second time and have more of a clear head on it. I don't think it's going to go down. I don't think I'm going to be bored by this, because I was just engrossed and just so into this film. I think we're going to love it more on a second watch. And you know what? This is my favorite film of the year. I think it's the best film I've seen this year, and I really don't know what's going to top it. So, yeah, that's it. Bye.